My name is Autarchii. I'm from a place in Portmore, Jamaica called Christian Pen. The Christian Pen is a community that produces a lot of revolutionaries, but revolutionaries who don't necessarily know about the revolutionary aspect, Growing up, it was a nice life, but a life that many would never understand, in the sense that there were different crime taking place and there's different situations amongst youth and youth. And my environment basically grew me to be the revolutionary person that I am. I have friends that have died. I've seen different things in the streets. But on the positive end, there was a community behind me who thought that my development was essential to the building of Jamaica and also to the building of the black world, so to speak. So Christian Pen is a community that developed me to the heights of heights. And my father is a singer and my mother is a humble lady. So growing up in that formal and informal structure led to me realizing what the world is all about. And I wasn't carried away by things that majority of people would have been carried away by. So living in Christian Pen, and I went to a school called Kingston College. Kingston College also further went to that was my high school. It further led to my development as a youth, So as a small youth, for the most part, all I wanted to do on a daily basis was play football. And playing football was the ideal thing for me. Nothing else in the world mattered otherwise from playing football and eating food. So there was a thing in Jamaica that we call bag juice match. And while, like you'd have different competitions and have sport competitions, what our sport competition was, it was buying, making up money to buy different bags of bag juice. Bag juice is like juice that come in plastic bags. Many people might not be familiar with what bag juice is, but every single Saturday we would put money together, buy 4 or 5 bags of bag juice, any amount our pockets could match, or we'd ask our parents for. And this would be the world to us, because once we won, that was like a trophy to us. So many people can't understand a concept like that. Like, how could juice in a bag become like trophy to you? But to us as innocent children, as innocent beings, that's all that really mattered. The world in the aspect, but the politics taking place didn't matter to us. Things going on around us didn't matter to us, but playing bag juice match? Yeah. When I say football, I'm talking about what Americans refer to as soccer. So that was all that mattered to me as a youth, and chilling with my friends. We play different games, we have games like salada kick. Something is that it's similar to football, but it's like if the ball goes through your foot, then your friends would try to run you down so they could hit you, and you have to make sure that you don't get hit, because sometimes being hit would be hard on you and you possibly could cry too. So things like that. And also me and my friends, we used to come together and see how much our money could reach. And if we even had $50, we would buy like a pound of rice, different things to cook with. There was breadfruit tree. Breadfruit is a fruit that is native to different Caribbean areas. It's a starchy type of food. It's somewhat like bread. And we would find that we would get the wood together and roast breadfruit. Cook different things. That was our joy. Playing football and cooking food and sharing food amongst our friends. Picking different fruits and, coming together and really having different forms of discussion. Immature discussions, but discussions that were important to us nonetheless at that time. As a youth, I had many skills, right? But I was shy with a lot of them. For instance, my sister was an artist. She liked to draw, so I used to mimic her and draw different things. Every single paper that I saw, I used to draw different things on these papers. Like, it could be a tree. I would look at a tree and I would be drawing that tree, but I wouldn't really show anybody. I was just mimicking my sister. And there was different talents that I had, because writing, for one, was my major talent as a youth growing up. I would see something in a newspaper, because I liked to read the newspaper as a little youth, which was somewhat strange for a child at my age too, to be reading the newspaper that much. But it was around me. My mother and father, they always had newspapers, so I just picked up the newspaper and started reading. With me reading the newspaper, my vocabulary was extremely high, so you would see me randomly just spelling different words and practicing these words until my parents were like, I think you should enter a school like a spelling bee contest or something, because they thought that my intellect was really developed from an early age. When it comes to poetry, writing, music, I was from a tender age. I was putting word pen to paper and doing like 4 lines. Not necessarily singing these lines, but just writing about different things that I would see around me, like poverty, frustration. I didn't have much knowledge of the poverty nor the frustration at that tender age, but I saw different symbols and different patterns amongst people's behavior, and I would write about these things. So as a child growing up, those are different things that I would do. I would write, I would draw, and I think that led to my development in this modern day. And these things were all fun for me. Like, to many people, writing or reading a book and different things as a child would be like, it would be too formal that it would take them out of their regular mental space. But for me, that was like therapy as a child growing up. Because as a child, you know, we were innocent, and regardless of what was going on around us, I think that these things were like what an adult would classify as going out on a Friday or having nice time. That was nice time to us as a child. But me in particular, writing, reading, drawing were things that I was very, very, very particular with. So I had a lot of love from the community. So I had my aunties, my cousins living all across in the same lane that I was living in. My family was all around the community. So that in essence gave me power to really continue my artistic expression. And that is why even a song like Youth Today came into prominence. So while to me consciously Youth Today seems like a song that was written in 2017, unconsciously, I did not realize that Youth Today was a building from my childhood. Because if you realize the first line is talking about first thing they teach the youths wrong. So from my childhood, writing all of those stuff, I was actually taking notes on what children were being taught wrong, what were they being taught that was right, and how did all of those lessons lead to their development. So from a childhood stage, Youth Today was actually building in me until I was an adult, or I am an adult in today's society. I basically gave that artistic expression in a melodic format, which is the song Youth Today. Youth Today, got to live and learn to show love.
Them teacher use them wrong. I say them born in a sin. Next thing, them teacher use them wrong. I say Selassie and no king. Teach them, cause a winner never lose, and a loser never win. Teach them, so we love the melanin, and burn down skin bleaching. They ride like lightning, crash like thunder. Teach the youth them, for burn down border. No more clan sting, no one other. It's Lassie, I'm a king and the youth today got to live and learn to show them all we need. Used to live and grow with more love. The youth today got to live and learn to show love. All we need is used to live and grow with more love.
So that, remember earlier I was telling you about the bag juice match, playing football and all of that. That was really love for us, and we were showing love to each other by sharing. Once we got that trophy, which was the bag juice, we shared it amongst each other. That was showing love. That in its full aspect of things, I feel like that was harmony that is needed across different societies, because across different tribes, different nations. And once everybody has that, then the youths of today will be the future, and they will be properly prepared for that future. So the relevance of youth today came from a child age, and I can say that much. I wasn't aware of it until now. As a youth now growing up, I am keen to observing patterns, and while I observed a lot of patterns, it led to me being very nice to people, it led to me being professional, it led to me being street smart, and all of that street smart plus the formal education that I got from the aspect of Christian Penn to going to high school, which is Kingston College, and then leaving from high school, coming to Brooklyn, I felt that all of those transitions were smooth, and they were smooth because I was being prepared from a tender age. So my community served the purpose of a country. So there were different individuals within that community that taught me lessons from every different group that there was. So whenever I came to Brooklyn now, I came to Brooklyn and I saw people moving in a specific mannerism, because I think that, for me, for one, to be honest, I think that there's a high sense of apathy in Brooklyn and America at large. There's like a lack of love. There's no people pushing you all around on the subway stations. You say morning to certain people. That in its aspect was somewhat weird to me, because where I am, if I rise up and I pass a couple of elders and I don't say good morning, then I would be in trouble. So coming to Brooklyn, when I started saying good morning to people, and a few people only answered, and sometimes I saw the elders, they wouldn't answer me. It's like I was talking to myself. It kind of felt weird, but I was still prepared for that transition, because, as I said, my community in the aspect of world dominance was like the world to me. My community was the world to me. So the transition of coming to Brooklyn was somewhat smooth. I got mentally prepared for it in a realistic manner. And then even like a song like Black Beauty, thinking of Black Beauty, the transition prepared me for singing a song like Black Beauty, because coming to America I realized that racism is not just a word, it's actually a practice that is carried out on a daily basis. And if I wasn't aware of what my Black Beauty is, then how would I maneuver through the streets of Brooklyn, or through the streets of America, or through the streets of New York? So coming to America and being from that background that I am prepared me for knowing what Black Beauty is, how I'm supposed to embrace my people, and how I am supposed to bring out the best in my people. So, and Black Beauty in this aspect, like this song talks about how we as one people, especially the females, should know the highest should be at the highest conscious sense of consciousness. Because if the females are not at the highest sense of consciousness, then the nation will be Black nation will be broken down. Because the females are the ones who produce children. Even besides children, they are the ones producing children. They are the ones who nurture children. And if they nurture children without a keen sense of who they are, or how beautiful they are internally and externally, then that will be a problem for Black people overall. So the transition is connected to me saying Black Beauty. And even the other aspect, as we were reasoning earlier, and the other aspect of us fighting a struggle that we are in by ourselves, and even those people who should be in the struggle with us are not fighting the struggle. They're trying to separate themselves. For example, what we would call brown people in America today, what many people call Latino, many of them can't see the fact that they're in the struggle together with us. And it's actually one struggle, because even a historical fact, many people see the Olmecs, the head of the Olmecs in Mexico and different places, and they don't know what it symbolizes. The Olmec she is actually an African symbol, so it's showing that these people are actually connected to us from an African perspective. And I was thinking about Olmec she, that sounds similar to Mexico, which was actually Mexico, created after Olmec she. So it's a connection between the Black and brown people, showing their lineage to Africa. So Black Beauty touches on a lot of this, showing that we should know our history, and once we know our history, then we would be valiant people. And me, myself, personally, know that I am a valiant individual, and I'm a Black individual, I'm an African individual. I can't deny that. So once again, I can connect it to where I am from. And growing up, I grew up around a lot of Rastafari elders, because these elders are elders that are connected to my father through business-wise and through bridging relationships. So being around these elders, I learned about African centricity, and learning of all of these things, I processed this information, and then that information led me to knowing myself on a greater scale. So everything can be connected. For me, everything is connected. All things are connected, and the earth in itself and how people move within the earth, it's like a package to me. And that package is where I find my space within that package to see what I am and the duty that I am supposed to carry out. So Black Beauty seems as if it's normal to people. Okay, he's saying that a Black woman is beautiful, but no. It's more than just a Black woman being beautiful. It's self-awareness, and self-awareness from me that came through different black women that I have encountered with. So it's always a personal experience, although not personal from the aspect where we would get too connected to certain thoughts, but personal in the aspect where anything that I do, it has to be a representation of who I truly am. The name of my music company is Red Music Group. And Red is patwa in aspect, because we would say red is red. And that's how we translate red. That's patwa. So that is a logical statement showing you that red can never be blue, red can never be yellow, red have to always be red. And it also relates to the culture of Rastafari, where Rastafari is red, meaning that they're talking about purification, and purification in the aspect of cleansing yourself from all negative things. So this is not a concept that was created by me, it was created by the elders before me, and I just chose to carry it on and put it in a formal aspect of a music group. And Red Music Group now meshes community work with music. As we all know, music is the biggest form of art expression in the world. I've never met someone personally who does not like music. So the fact that everyone listens to music and loves music, it shows that if we are supposed to give the people what they need through music, then the earth would function at a particular vibration that would be great to everybody that lives within the earth. And my philosophy is that music is community service in the form of melodies. I say that all the time. So that in essential now, that leads me to doing community work. I sing about it. Anything I sing about, I make sure I practice it. Because word is just wind, but if you put action to it, then word in its greatest aspect is something that can change the world. Malcolm X uttered words from his mouth. These words are uttered today through I and I, through different people. And that's the powers of words. Many people don't realize that. So different community projects that I do right now, I have an event called Entrepreneurship Meets Live Music. And Entrepreneurship Meets Live Music is basically encouraging youths to take their business from an informal aspect to a formal aspect so they can see the value of self-reliance. Rather than wanting to grow up to work for someone, you can grow up knowing that you should be the ruler of your own destiny, as opposed to being the slave first to someone, not knowing the direction that you want to go in life. And when we connect this with live music, not just music, but live music, because live music is a sense, it shows unity. There's an artist, there's musicians, they're communicating in a way and they're delivering that message to you as a people. So when entrepreneurship actually meets live music, this is how the world has changed. The world changes in sound, the world changes in action, and the world changes in thought process. So these are some of the community service that we engage in, and the proceeds from this event now goes to my scholarship competition, which is called, my scholarship, which is called Youth Today Scholarship. So every single song that I have, I tie it back into some form of community service, because as you know, I have a song called Youth Today. I make sure the name of the scholarship is Youth Today Scholarship, showing that the youths of today need these types of programs and scholarships to enhance if they are supposed to go in a higher education, if they're supposed to become more knowledgeable, they have to have less financial burden. With Cure My Pain, it's an intriguing song, and it's a song that sometimes sparks controversy. A lot of people love it. So initially, after we did the song, I decided that I wanted to go to Colorado to shoot the video. And I wanted to go to Colorado particularly for the reason that Colorado is one of the first states that legalized marijuana, because they saw the financial aspect of it. And also, even more than that, while being in Colorado, we realized that Colorado had a mountain called Red Rocks. And if we were supposed to go to a place that legalized marijuana, why not go to the highest point of that place to actually get the message across? So if people see the video, they can realize we did the video in like a party bus. Usually a party bus is known for people drinking alcohol consumption, people going on loose, but this was more of a concentrated format. If you realize the colors even within that party bus was the colors of the UNIA, the RBG, the red for the blood of my people, the black for the color of my skin, and the green for the lusciousness of the land of Africa. So Cure My Pain has a lot of hidden messages and a lot of upfront messages that many people will never actually get. Because even when you're talking about the aspect of epilepsy, Cure My Pain addresses the fact that if marijuana was legalized throughout the world without the thought, without the greed of the arch capitalists, then Cure My Pain would be, then marijuana would be something that could heal the world. Because you know what, from marijuana comes hemp. Hemp can build the strongest of concrete, ropes. Hemp can do so much things that they never actually taught us about. Because growing up, a lot of people actually said marijuana made you mad. And with people saying that now, that led me to do a study. I'm talking about not just a Google research. I read more than 10 medical journals. And anybody know medical journals know that these journals are heavy and highly written. So I went through all of this, and there's never been a case of anybody dying from marijuana solely alone, unless they did marijuana with something else. And also into the scope of the healing of marijuana, there are a lot of people living in America, even before I get to the world, living in America who cannot survive without marijuana because of the ailments that they have. And when they introduced marijuana to these people because of the ailments that they had, these people were healed in less than 3 weeks. So why would a government who has all of these knowledge at their disposal not legalize a plant of this nature? And the only time they seem to align with this plant is when they realize that they can make money off this plant. And as the reason what you were saying earlier is that they still, within the connection of marijuana, they still have us black people as like the drug dealer for them who are the arch capitalists carrying out the business in the corporate sense corporate scheme of things. So Cure My Pain is it's ruffling a lot of feathers, and it's taking on a whole bunch of things. Just like, for example, it's even talking about the pharmaceutical companies. How these pharmaceutical companies are mainly against marijuana because marijuana would heal so much of the people's pain that they wouldn't need to be filling all of those weekly prescriptions. Recently we saw companies like Bayer and Monsanto coming together and forming the biggest merger in history. And then along with that merger in history, they are predicting their profit for the next 3 years. But how could a company that sells aspirins and a company that produces seed know the amount of profit that they will be making? So I would assume that, for one, the people making the seed would give you so much GMO food that would essentially lead to your head hurting you, and then the company selling the aspirins would be the ones that you would be buying that product from. So if marijuana would eliminate all of these things, and that's one of the reasons why they try to control the industry and they try their best to suppress the people's thought about it. There's actually people right now in this current 2019 who don't know the benefits of marijuana. They only have negative connotations to marijuana because their parents told them about that or because of what they saw on TV. So Cure My Pain actually addresses all of these things and show them how this plant can be used to alleviate the stress of different nations. A country like Jamaica grows some of the best marijuana on earth, but yet still marijuana is still illegal in Jamaica. It's decriminalized based off the same rule that New York had. But how could it be marijuana be illegal in a country like Jamaica? Jamaica has so much debt across the world. Jamaica owes a lot of loans to IMF, which is International Monetary Fund. And the country is basically in shambles because of different economic reasons and the political conflict that is taking place. Now, if that country was to legalize marijuana, then imagine the difference in the livelihood of the people. I have even a documentary that I'm sitting on right now where I went into the different garrisons and I interviewed different youths on the corners, asking them why do they use marijuana, how does it impact the economics of the ghetto, how does it impact them on a social scalability, and how it impacts them psychologically, because these are things that we need to look into. And it's a part of that culture, but yet still, they're only granting marijuana license to big corporations in Jamaica so they can build dispensaries and then make money for it. And yet, while granting license to these big corporations, there's still land in Jamaica that they're burning because these lands are of poor, what they would classify as poor farmers growing these things. So just the other day, they burned 7 acres of marijuana while in the same day and the same week granting permission and license to people who are of the upper class. So you realize Cure My Pain touches on all of these aspects, and it goes beyond just a personal, me just using marijuana for recreational purposes. It's from a medical purpose, it's from a social perspective, it's from a racial perspective, any perspective that you want to think of. Cure My Pain addresses all of these issues. So to me, Cure My Pain is more than a song. It's like social commentary, and I wouldn't say steroids because I wouldn't even want to say that. It's social commentary on Medina, since we're talking about a natural thing. So that's what I would say about Cure My Pain.
Wow, this love affair between you and the Rastaman has always been the highest one, I must admit. Red. You're my pain, my pain. Take away my pain, my pain. You're my pain, my pain. I love you, marijuana. You're my pain, my pain. Take away my pain, my pain. You're my pain, my pain. I love you, sweet ganja. I suppose I can't ignore the loving that I have for you. I adore. I suppose that you could feel deep down in my heart the feeling that I feel. Just know my love for you is real. That's why not to walk a leaf when I go make you feel. Oh, the way you make me feel. You never know that you're more than a queen. You're my pain, my pain. Take away my pain, my pain. Cure my pain, my pain. I love you, marijuana. Cure my pain, my pain. Take away my pain, my pain. Cure my pain, my pain. I love you, sweet ganja. Yeah, you give me strength. I love you, him. Let's go on a date. Neolithic days in China. Thought you were so sexy. First time around, when I cure my epilepsy. You help me in my reasoning. THC, you make me